Anyone want to get rich? Yes. I have a PhD in finance, and I study trading. Alas, the kinds of folks I study tend to end up broke. So, whatever your reasons for being here, no part of this talk is intended as investment advice. I'm not too sure why they invited me to do this show. I suspect that David learned I was Ukrainian. Must have figured if one Ukrainian comedian can go from this to that, who knows what this Ukrainian can do? So, here I am, an imperfect specimen, woman of the rare breed of female finance academics. My research is in market microstructure. Initially, the market part of it was pitched to me like that. And then I realized just later, it kind of looks like that. But who am I kidding? Uncensored looks more like that. Let me come clean with this one though. When it comes to money, I'm a policeman, not a trickster. Markets, you see, need to be policed to make sure human traders are not ripped off by the machines. And my research studies how to protect men from the machines. Let me be fair though, not only men who need protection, women too. On Tinder, when I used to say I worked in finance, all they wanted was my tips on picking stocks. At the time, I used to work at the stock exchange, hanging out with people like this. And then I switched to academia, and now I hang out with people like that. Ideally, I separate them at dinner parties. Otherwise, I get accused of being a fat cat capitalist and a socialist, all in the course of one evening. Sometimes they ask me, so what is your research about? I say, well, I study guys who trade. They say, oh, well, not really. I don't really study guys. My Tinder days are in the past, thank God. What I really study is the data which comes out of trading patterns of humans and machines. And who cares, you may say? And I say, well, financial markets regulators do. Regulators, or in simple terms, the financial markets police, care a lot about this key question. Are human traders being ripped off by machines? Do they need to be protected? You may think you already know the answer. But as an economist, I've been trained to start with, it depends. One hypothesis is, perhaps machines are faster and therefore faster to both see and trade on public information like this piece of news about Donald Trump's effect on the trade policy and the global markets. Perhaps, however, machines are smarter and they pay attention to actual news about the global markets while humans are busy reading this. So, which one is the case? Well, I won't keep you in the dark too long. Researchers have crunched the numbers and found that mostly it's being fast as opposed to smart that gives machines an edge. Fast trading by machines, otherwise known as high-frequency traders or HFTs, can do some bad things to slow investors. Here's the good news though. Machines mostly go after the big fish. Small fish, investors like you and me, can swim away unharmed. Who are the big fish then? Think hedge funds, mutual funds, large institutional investors who manage other people's money and trade millions of dollars worth of stock. Because their trading patterns are more easily detectable, HFTs go after these big fish guys. Here's how. Suppose you are an HFT firm trading the market, running a whole lot of algorithms. One way to make the money is to get a sneak peek of other people's trading intentions. Kind of like this. How do you get a sneak peek? Well, you pay the stock exchange good money to place your servers very close to the servers of the stock exchange itself. Otherwise known as co-location. Well, that gives you a few milliseconds advantage of seeing other people's trades a few milliseconds earlier than anyone else. A few milliseconds, it turns out, is enough to detect whether a large institutional investor is buying a whole load of stock, then buy it faster than them, while the price is still low, sell it back to them at a higher price. That's called front running. So if you're a small fish, are you safe? Well, mostly yeah, because machines assume you to look something like this. In technical terms, it's called a noise trader. In non-technical terms, it's called dumb. So because machines assume you to be dumb, they're happy to sell to you if you're buying and buy from you if you're selling. In technical terms, provide liquidity to small investors. Now, are we off the hook? Machines are not having us for lunch. Regulators can sleep well at night and let the monkeys gamble away. That was kind of the story. And then a new fish appeared on the block. See, when COVID hit, I was still trying to work out this hypothesis of whether monkeys are being ripped off by machines. And then the world turned upside down and I had to consider this alternative. Perhaps it's monkeys having the machines for lunch. You see, the scariest thing that happened during COVID wasn't exactly this new science of drinking bleach, nor even the new dating trends on Tinder. Tell you what, not even baking sourdough into the shape of Trump's head scare my guts as much as this one thing, the prospect of being bored. I wasn't alone in my existential fear of boredom. Retail investors, fellow monkeys flooding to Reddit and posting all kinds of crap about the company about to go out of business named GameStop were also bored. And so they entertained themselves by buying a whole lot of GameStop stock for no good reason, like future cash flows, anything like that, but rather out of sheer pleasure of teaching these big shot hedge funds and their fancy algorithms a lesson that one cannot compete with this ultimate force of nature called human emotion. But we're doing science here, so let us come back to the original hypothesis and try to answer, is it truly so that humans are having rational machines for lunch? After a whole lot of number crunching and textual analysis of Reddit posts, the answer is yes. Emotion does play an outsized role in affecting the prices of meme stocks like GameStop. We also find that machines have this thing in common with the guys on Tinder. And no, it's not just after going the big fish. It's different. They're both still learning to catch up on how to make sense of human emotion. So let me wrap up here. We learned today that markets need to be policed, and that the common folk is not really tricked by the machines, but human traders are more emotional than most economists would dare to admit. I hope I managed to convince you that the science of finance is fun, and that crunching numbers is a good pastime, certainly one that saves you from boredom during COVID. Also, whether you're leaning left or right, whether you call me a fat cat capitalist or a socialist, you're welcome to my dinner parties. And I don't drink, but do bring some good wine, because a nice bottle of Penfolds Grange has never hurt nobody, apart from maybe this guy. Thank you so much.